Hello everybody, this is Make It Better, and today we're doing What If Deku Was a Singer/Idol, Part 15. Before I start this, I am gonna do the Ghost What If. I just was on a roadblock for some parts and I couldn't figure it out. And that's basically it. Sorry for the long wait, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, because I did. Here we go. First of all, Zuko, he did learn what Muscular was looking for, and it was Bakugo. So, after that little situation of making Muscular in a comatose state, took me a while to say that correctly, but I got it. And yeah, now Zuko did break his right arm, and that's basically it. He strained his left, but everything else is quite okay. He looks over to Kola and asks if he's alright, as Kola is trying to climb back up on the mountain, on top of the cliff. Which Zuko actually reaches out with his left arm and learns that his left arm is strained, but he can still feel his fingers. So with ignoring this pain, he picked up Kota, put him on the back, and asked him to hold on. He will take him to the camp. As they're running towards the camp, Akoda asks if he's okay, to Zuko, of course. And Zuko just lies and tells him that he's okay, he's fine. All we need to worry about is your safety. Which Koda is very happy to hear, and hold on tightly to Zuko's shirt even more. Now going over to the camp. The moment Zuko finally leaves and goes to Muscular, few people actually scatter and try to look for their friends. One of them remembers that, well, instead of going back inside the camp grounds and be safe or even helping the teachers, she decided to go out in the forest to help out her friends. And she knows that one of them is, right behind it. So she decided to go. Moving on to Zuko's point of view. When he gets up to Aizawa and tells him everything, Aizawa sees these, well, bruises and markings, asking what has happened. Zuko ignores that completely and asks where Pixie Bob? No, Mandalay. I think Mandalay. The one with green hair. Hold on. Yeah, this is the best picture I got. Doesn't show any of them, probably. Sorry, I don't have it. But one of the pussycats. This would be the best picture. So, well, Zuko finally meets up with Mandalay, I believe, and told her what has happened. That one of the villains attacked Koda. He saved him in the shortest, fastest way with all the important details. And he also said that he knocked out this one person named Muscular, which shocks the Pussycats, knowing how strong he really is. They have so many questions on how he knocked out Muscular, but Zuko said something even worse. That they are here to capture or take Bakugo. Well, he said Kachan, and when he said his actual name, Bakugo, they understood this and have it relayed to all the students of class 1B and 1A that the villains are here to take Bakugo Katsuki. And they have a permission to use their quirks. Of course, it's layered in time, but I didn't want to say it at that point. Zuko tells them that he's going to go back out there and protect the rest of his classmates, and he rush off. Everybody else, and see how Zuko is working really hard to protect everybody, makes everybody there, all the students that were in the background just watching this, really got motivated and proceeded to help out as well. Moving on to the next scene of Zuko meeting the the six-armed guy. Seeing him crouch down and, well, Zuko is not held on his by Tentacular arm because his injuries are not as bad. Zuko played it off as if it's just a flesh wound and asked what happened to Todoroki and Tokoyami, which Tokoyami is showing being taken over by Dark Shadow. Now this has going to be happening exactly in a canon, all the way to where they meet up with Bakugo and Todoroki. Zuko wasn't thinking straight at that moment and just let it happen because it was a little stressful to see Tokoyami acting like this out of control. And to his knowledge, his only weakness was to light or fire. And well, that happens. Here we go. As they're moving up in a group, leading away was Zuko and Tokoyami. Well, no, Zuko and dang it, I really wish I remembered his name. Tank Duplicate Arm. Oh man, but the one that's holding Zuko on the picture. They're both up front. Right behind them is Bakugo. Right behind him is Tokoyami and Todoroki. And they're going into formation to go back to the main camp. Man, I'm losing my words really quick. But as they're going, they meet up with Uraka and her group. Now let's move on a few minutes behind. Uraka was attacked by Toga, and that happens. All that scene has happened, but instead of Zuko coming in and attacking her, it was actually Jiro. She attacked her with her earplugs in on her knife and her arm, vibrating it just enough to make her let go and, go right back behind thinking it's too much to deal with and decide to run. She did not have a chance to see Zuko. When Zuko and his group finally gets there, he asks why is Jiro here, and she explained that seeing him working so hard to protect everybody, she wanted to go out there as well. And good thing too, she saved these two, which the two girls are very thankful. I'm losing words. Sorry. I can't think of it. Thankful. Wow, I can't say anything. I'm sorry. Dang. Now, they decide to make a group, and Zuko is explaining that we're here to protect Bakugo for he can get back to the main camp. As they were saying this, they did not know, and Suyu pointed this out, so where is Bakugo? And they look back saying, what are you talking about? He's right. As they learn, Bakugo is gone, and so as well as Tokoyami, which Zuko's very pissed about. Until they see what was his name? Dang it! I have to watch the anime again to remember. The magic hat guy. Oh, Compress. He's talking about all of these things that he has taken their friends, holding two marbles, and is somewhat reflecting of what's inside, but not really, and decide to fly off. Zuko and everybody else are panicking, don't know what exactly to do, and Zuko asked Uraka and Suyu to throw him, which they learn, so they do. Zuko gets ready, he cracks his knuckles and says ready. So Uraka make him float, Suyu swing him around with her tongue as far as she can. And everybody else was pushing, throwing as much explosions, fire and ice towards Zuko, which is pushing him further in. Zuko is charging up one for all, 5%, and it's straining his arm right at that moment. But he fights through it and kept going. To this point, he immediately hits Compress in the back, making him fall down and spitting out the two marbles. Zuko grabs onto them and breaks it, which only show Tokoyami. He's trying to look around, finding the other marble, and he breaks it. Nothing came out, which shows Compress is now. And as he was looking around to find the marble, Compress gets up right by. Well, who was it? Dobby, and Compress shows the other marble, and he broke it, showing Bakugo, and Bakugo is slowly being taken in the portal. With Zuko is very pissed and tried to fly off into the portal with him to get him, but he was too late and did not make it. Now, after this moment, let's move on to the group. They were ambushed by a Nomu, actually, and it took them by surprise. And everybody there is trying to fight against this Nomu. This Nomu is nothing special, but it takes them a while since they don't have one for all or the second best, which is Bakugo. And so it's taking them a while, and they're very tired by this, and they're focusing all their attention on this Nomu. And when they finally defeated the Nomu, knocking it out, not knowing its weakness, everybody has a head count and checking if everybody was okay. And to their dismay, Jiro was also taken. They look around and try to find Jiro, but in the mess of fighting to everybody each other, they couldn't find her. Moving on to the Zuko point of view, he's mad at himself that he is not fast enough to get Bakugo of all people, and he's just standing there and screaming into the sky, cursing himself that he couldn't save one person. Everybody are learning that the villains are backing out, leaving the site into the darkness. Zuko finally passed out after all the sheer pain and adrenaline rush in his body that he couldn't stand anymore, and he passed out. A few hours has passed by. Everybody is finally safe enough. Now, Zuko finally wakes up. He's not in the hospital bed, but he's on a bed that a couch, and everybody's just checking if he's okay. He hears ambulance on the outside, taking care of everybody and he sees just a glance of the door opening and closing, of Muscular being taken in the struck and wrapped in a vest all over his body to make sure he doesn't move, and taken into the ambulance or a very strong truck to make sure he stays in there. As Zuko finally is coming to, everybody asks if Zuko is okay, even the teachers. Zuko says that he's okay, but he wants to know if everybody's here, and then he's looking around and asks where's Jiro. Which Zuko gets the bad news that in their little battle with Bakugo, the group that he left behind was fighting against the Nomu, and they were so focused on it, they didn't notice that Jiro was taken away as well. Now let's move on to the next scene. Bakugo is tied up to a chair, and right behind him is also Jiro. Now Jiro is completely out. She is not awake for this whole moment. But Bakugo is, and he knows that the girl is right behind him, asking why, well, yelling, why did they take him and her here? And they explain and want him to join them, and the girl too. But Bakugo is not having any of this, and just keeps talking with fighting words to make sure someone breaks, but none of them do. Staying on the scene, for a week and a half, both Bakugo and Jiro were tortured quite a lot. Not enough to be shown, but torture enough where they were almost to a brink of not death, but releasing secrets of whatever questions they had. And most of it was to Zuko Midoriya. And they both chose not to say anything. Moving on to Zuko and everybody else. They were all taken back to their dorms, and Zuko just couldn't say anything. In his head, he lost both Jiro and Bakugo, not knowing if they would ever come back, not knowing how to help them. So he put himself in his room, locked the door, and started writing more on his journal. You know, I did not think I would be this far ahead with that amount of time. I wasn't planning to go further, but here we go. Now Zuko is in his room writing all of this in his notebook and feeling everything that he'd done this past week. He focused everything in his music, actually. With all this new emotion, and he couldn't find a way to say it to anybody because they all know it, but they don't know how to comfort him or make him feel safer. So with all this, Zuko resorts to his songs and starts singing some music. He put them each up in his YouTube channel, hoping someone will hear it, hoping that he will find her and Bakugo. And let's move on to the other scene. After a week has passed, Toga is the one torturing, well, Kyoka or Jiro. And Toga is just saying all these things and asking more questions about Zuko or Skull, because she is a huge fan and she knows that both Zuko and her is dating and want to know more about it. Very curious, like, seems like she's more obsessed with Zuko than ever before. Which Jiro is pissed about, but she's trying her best not to say anything that would break any kind of trust. So she says nothing until she hears a tone coming from, or a ring coming from Toga's phone. Toga looks at it and learns and says this out loud to everybody that the Skull just brought out a new song, and she's very happy about it and told everybody to shut up, be quiet. She wants to hear this. And it's very heartbreaking. I have picked out some songs, and you're going to go hear it on the next video. But when she hears all of this, she starts to kind of tear up and thinks that this is all for her, Toga. But Jiro can hear the sadness in his voice on how much pain he's going through, and she's just thinking to herself that she's really needs to step it up and protect him, but she doesn't know how. And that's where I'm gonna end this part. I'm sorry for being a short story. I did not expect that it would take this short amount of time. Very sorry about that. But I have not downloaded the songs yet for me to put it down in this video. With that said, have a nice day, and I hope you enjoy it.